What's up, y'all? This is Lance coming to you with another video. Uh, Different subject this time. I was talking to one of my comrades, Sharika, and I was telling her that I was thinking about doing a series on advanced fundamental analysis. So, some years back, I had the privilege of sitting down with a very intelligent brother who gave his time to um, teaching myself as well as some others quantitative analysis. And I've never really been a lover of math, but I will say that going through that experience gave me a new appreciation for math, and how math can help you to think more intuitively about certain concepts. And as I go on with the series, hopefully it'll be made more clear as to what I mean. But so, uh, those of us that are Abacus members, if you've gone through the core classes, then you have a pretty solid foundation for, metrics and what those metrics mean. Um, and what your benchmarks are for those metrics. So you know what uh, a good or decent profit margin will be for a particular company in a particular industry. But the purpose of this series will be to allow people, uh, who are in that situation to where, you have a pretty solid foundation for reading financial statements and things of that nature, but you want a deeper understanding of the numbers. So, I can look at, uh, Apple, and I can, look at the profit margins, the debt ratios, and, see that, oh, this is a great company on its surface. Uh, and that's not to say if you take a deeper look at Apple, it's a crappy company. But let's just say that there was some deeper things going on, um, that just looking at the numbers on its face you wouldn't see, you wouldn't understand. And I'm next week I'm going to start off with PE ratio, and I'm going to demonstrate that how you can use the PE ratio as a key piece of information about that company itself, instead of uh, basically going beyond, okay, let me compare the PE ratio for this company and its competitors, and then let's see how it stacks up against the industry. But you can look and you can really decipher what's going on with the PE ratio, the numbers, and how they are influenced and things like that. So, advanced fundamental analysis, I'm going to give it to you right here on YouTube. Um, I actually built a model around this stuff. I haven't really visited that thing in a while, but I remember I did a model on Texas Instruments, and this was, oh man, back in, maybe it was 2017 or 2016, somewhere, maybe 2016. I did a quantitative model on Texas Instruments, and I want to say Texas Instruments was definitely less than $100 at the time, so it was maybe 80, somewhere. It was over 50, but it was less than 100, so it was somewhere in between there. And I remember doing a model and plugging in the numbers and getting a pretty fair value for Texas Instruments at the time, at around 140 some dollars. So just thinking back to then, you can understand the benefit of being able to do such a thing. Um, if, me personally, if I would have, taken action, after getting that number, I would say, okay, based on this study that I've done, this thorough breakdown of the numbers that I've completed on this company, it has, more than 50% growth potential. So I think I should, I just might, buy some shares and hold them for a few years and see what happens, and it maybe even become part of my long-term portfolio. So if you're interested in anything like that, having me plug some numbers for some companies of yours, just hit me up, and I'll be happy to do that for you. Uh, Not for free, of course, because it does take time. It's pretty tedious and time consuming, but like I said, I have a new appreciation for the numbers and the math behind the numbers, because it allows me to think on a deeper level, and evaluate the company on a deeper level than I could before. So uh, stick with me. Like I said, next week I'm gonna kick it off with PE ratio. Um, and we'll talk about that, especially in the wake of COVID, and how we're basically in a recession, but the markets are reaching new historic levels, all-time highs, just crazy movements in the markets, and it just doesn't necessarily reflect what's happening now, but we know that that's because the markets price in future events. If there's hope for a recovery, that's bullish. You know what I'm saying? So, advanced fundamental analysis part one is going to be based on the PE ratio. I'm going to talk a little bit about the PE ratio and kind of break that down a little bit more for you guys, so that you can uh, kind of pull back a layer or two of that PE ratio and think about some other ways that you can view your company through a different lens. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, if there are any concepts that you would you kind of find interesting, leave it in the comments below, and we'll talk about it. Have a good night.